Another day, another set of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet leaks. Let's take a look. The new leaker has continued his rampage on the internet, leaking a ton of information about Scarlet and Violet. I posted a few videos here, and here if you guys want to check them out, and they'll be in the description below. So use those to catch up on all the different things, including new Pokemon, all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's really been crazy. Gym leaders and much, much more. In this video, we're going to talk about the new Gimmick, kind of the new main kind of thing going on in Scarlet and Violet, akin to Mega Evolution or Z moves, or in the case of Dynamax and Gigantamax in Sword and Shield. We're gonna dive into that specific topic, as well as a few other tidbits that have kind of come out from this particular leaker. So let's have some fun. There's a lot to dive into. So the first thing I do want to very strongly emphasize here is that this is a translated version of this mechanic, and it seems as though the translation has had some bumps along the road. So I do want to emphasize that when I tell you about this mechanic, there's a chance that it's slightly misinterpreted. I think we have a general idea here and it makes sense to me, but I just want to give the disclosure that there's a chance that a better translation comes out in the future or something to that effect, and it gives a little bit more clarity on that. So we're gonna actually dive into Eclipse here, who's gonna explain it to us, and says, basically the new battle mechanic can be used on special items or balls in order to affect one chosen type. For example, if you choose a dark type when entering battle with a specific Pokemon, through this item you'll gain a boosted attack on the first dark type move you'll use. So it seems as though this doesn't actually change the type of the Pokemon that you're affecting, but rather boosts their type, much like, let's say, a gem would or a Z crystal would. It can be used on any type of our choice on any Pokemon you want. So you can use any type on any Pokemon. And the power-up lasts for the first move used of the selected type. And this is where the translations have been a little weird. Like, some people have said it's only the first time you use the move. Others are saying that it's basically every time you use a move of that type, it is boosted. It's unclear if the opponent can tell prior which Pokemon has the power-up. So you don't know going into it if the Pokemon, like if you're battling, if they have it or not until it's activated. It might be a surprise. It's unclear if the Gimmick deactivates if you switch the Pokemon before using the move. So it's known or thought at this time that if you were to send out the Pokemon and activate this Gimmick and then switch the Pokemon out, that the Gimmick is no longer a thing. But it's a little unclear as to kind of the presentation of it. We have to pick this type ball item prior to battle. That means it can slightly change its color to a range of colors to let the opponent know what set of types you're going to power up. This is my interpretation, says Eclipse. The crystal Pokemon we've seen is the mechanic. So we've seen these crystallized Pokemon. That is them utilizing this new mechanic. If we use this power up, the Pokemon change appearance drastically. So their appearance changes, but apparently their type does not change. It's just that they're able to boost the power of a specific type. And I believe the example that was given was Pikachu can boost the power of like fire type moves through this Gimmick. Given that and the fact that this Gimmick was referred to as similar to Mega Evolution, we can assume the Pokemon may also change their stats in the process. And again, this is all kind of guessing or kind of making conclusions here. The power-up lasts until we switch the Pokemon using it. That means the crystal form is retained until that moment as well. So it's more similar to Mega since it lasts, and less similar to Z-move or a gem item. It almost seems kind of like a hybridization of a lot of these different concepts, right? You've got the form change, which is similar to like a Gigantamax. You've got the power-up to a specific type, which is very similar to a gem or a Z crystal. But it seems as though it's a like a full-on change to the Pokemon while it remains in battle. So that could be a little bit stronger than some of these other concepts, right? Because gems are a one-time use. So if you keep the Pokemon in battle and it stays that way, and it has those boosts, it could actually be really beneficial. Eclipse then goes on to say that it's confirmed that the Pokemon type does not change, but the moves like Roar, Whirlwind, Dragon Tail, Circle Throw are gonna gain more usage because apparently they have the ability to stop this new mechanic, and they may introduce new moves that do similar things. So I'm gonna use Pori Leaks' summary here and kind of try to summarize everything again. It's usable on all Pokemon, you don't gain a new type, you apply a type damage bonus to whatever type you want, and it sticks to that specific Pokemon. You can go somewhere to change it, but otherwise, if you apply the Fire Gimmick to Zoroark, it's still a Dark type Zoroark, but Flamethrower is going to do even more damage. It's basically a gimmick that gives the advantage of same type attack bonus without suffering the type penalty, which helps to avoid weaknesses. And it applies some sort of crystal-like effect to the Pokemon, and it returns to the Pokeball. Ends the effect It's one use per battle like Mega Evolution. Now again, I think it's important to emphasize that at this stage of the game, there's some translation concerns here, and it's not 100% accurate what we're getting, but I think we have a general idea. So I'll update you guys over the coming days if we get a better translation. I know some trusted members of the community are kind of diving into this. It's thought that the person who's leaking this information is not a native Japanese speaker, which is causing even more concern because you have someone who's maybe not posting in Japanese, fluent Japanese, and then it's trying to get translated from Japanese to English, and people are using Google Translate, and it's just making a whole mess of the situation. So I think we'll probably get a little bit more clarity, but as of right now, that's the general idea. If everything I just said is accurate or somewhat accurate, what are your general thoughts on that? Let me know in the comment section below. And while you're typing that out in the comment section below, be sure to head over to TeamShiny.com. We got some brand new merch drops actually available now. Summer's heating up, and I thought we'd be dropping the fire starters all available. So now we've actually got every single starter on the site. Fire, water, grass, you can check them all out. And you can use code SUMMER to get 15% off if you pick up 3 t-shirts or more. So head over to TeamShiny.com and deck out your closet with some sweet merch. The next bit of information is something that I'm really hesitant to share, but I'm going to do it. So again, I just want you guys to take this stuff with a grain of salt because the translations are a mess right now. And I hope to amend this down the road. Pokesutami is looking into it. A lot of our trusted translators are looking into this, but I just want to let you guys know this is not good news if it's correctly interpreted. Eclipse reports that gym leader teams and level cap won't change even if you do them in any order. So it seems as though the game is going to have the freedom, and this is also reported by another account, EYBPUEZ, says you can do the gym leaders in any order, which is awesome. That's a great thing, and you would think that of an open world adventure. I can go and choose to do the fire gym first, or the water gym first, or whatever I want, because it's open world, and I can do whatever I want in an open world game, right? But apparently Eclipse is saying that the teams in the level cap don't change. So if you decide to do Gym 5 first, maybe it's going to be really, really hard because your team's going to be underleveled. But if you decide to beat all the gyms and then go back to Gym 1, they're still going to have like level 10 Pokemon. And I sincerely hope this is wrong. And the reason why I sincerely hope this is wrong is because we know in the lore of Pokemon that gym leaders have different teams to take on challengers who have different skill levels. This is a very well-known thing in not only the anime, but specifically the manga, where if a new trainer comes and challenges Brock, he's like, yo, here's my Onix, good luck. But if someone who has 7 badges challenges Brock, he's gonna be like, yo, here's my Steelix and my Golem and my Crobat and whatever else. Good luck, you're gonna need it, right? So this idea that they would have the same teams no matter what order you do them in and they don't scale hurts my soul. I gotta be honest, I hope this is wrong. Like I said, I was really hesitant to share this, but I think it opens up a really interesting topic of discussion. And if this is true, how does Game Freak dance around this? Because they've already set this, like, the stage for the fact that gym leaders should have variable teams based on skill level. Why would they not do that? I gotta believe this is incorrect. I just have to believe it. But there's been so many instances in the Pokemon world with things like this where I'm very disappointed. So I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. Our same source, Amy at Japan, says Beedrill is not in the game, which is very sad to me. I would have liked to see Beedrill make an appearance. I quite like Beedrill. And then there's some sort of a reference to a hammer Pokemon or a Pokemon with a hammer. I know that doesn't really get us anywhere. Like, that doesn't tell us anything, but the person talked about a hammer Pokemon or a Pokemon with a hammer, so we'll have to wait and see. And I think the last thing to mention here is that Jigglypuff Pokemon that we showed previously and the Amoonguss Pokemon that we saw, which are these new forms that were really unclear of what exactly they are. It seems as though these can be potentially referred to as ancient forms. Again, I just want to emphasize that the translations have been a little wonky right now, but it seems as though that's kind of the thought, is they're considered ancient forms, and we know that Pokemon can travel from the past to the present, and maybe even the future. The trainer itself does not, and that's not a foreign concept, right? We just saw that in Legends Arceus, where the space-time distortions, you're able to get Pokemon from the future. So it seems as though that's something that could be the case. So these may be the ancient forms of Pokemon, which brings up another discussion, which I think is fascinating. I think if you were to have a world where you have these ancient forms and you think about like a time before kind of humans and civilization with Pokemon, It's a really cool idea. I just feel like it should have been integrated into Legends Arceus, I guess, but we'll find out as time proceeds. The last thing I'm gonna mention today in this video, and I've said it a few times, I just wanna mention it one more time before I kind of wrap things up, is that the Riddler, who we know is a legitimate source, says it's hilarious that the Titan or Scarlet and Violet gimmick messages were passed in the form of Google Translate broken Japanese between both sides, which makes it a mess. What a waste for the Gen 9 battle preview. So again, I just want to emphasize that it seems like there's some misunderstanding of exactly what's taking place here, and hopefully we'll get that cleared up soon. But as of right now, we have a general idea of what the mechanic could be, so we'll take it for what it is. And that's pretty much that for the news today. I'm gonna keep an eye out and see if there's gonna be anything else. No trailer yet, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, I'm not really sure. But let me know your thoughts on this potential new gimmick. And again, just to emphasize, it may be a little bit inaccurate due to some translations. And what do you think about the gym leader thing? I just gotta believe that's wrong. I just have to believe it's wrong. I don't wanna move forward knowing that that's what they're doing. Show some love, hit that like button down below. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and head over to teamshiny.com to pick up some sweet merch and more. And I'll see you guys soon. Peace.